Hey everyone, my name is Drew. Welcome to the shop. A lot of people ask me what is the most essential tool in my shop, and I always tell them it's the table saw because there are so many different things that I do with it. And the other day I bought a book called Joinery by the editors of Fine Woodworking, and on one of the first pages it talks about how versatile your table saw can be if you have the proper jigs. Now you can go to your local woodworking shop and buy jigs for your table saw, like I did here from Rockler, or you can make them yourself. And so today I'm gonna show you the 3 jigs that I use the most and how to build them. All right, let's get into it. All 3 of these jigs can be made out of a single 2-foot by 4-foot MDF panel. I'm starting with a tenon jig, moving to a sacrificial fence, and ending with a sled. For the first 2 jigs, we are going to need 4 strips that are the same height as the table saw fence. Take 2 of those strips to the miter saw and cut them to 14 inches. We will be needing all 4 cuts. One 14-inch piece will sit snug to the back of the fence and the other will sit on top of the fence, making sure that the face is flush with the fence. I measured from the back of the front piece to the back of the back piece. I adjusted my table saw and ran one of the smaller cuts through. Using the smaller piece, I am now able to fasten the other 2 together. I pre-drilled pilot holes, followed by a 1 1/4 inch construction screw, making sure that the head was completely flush with the surface. To secure the face, I found it was easy to support it using the fence, and then I lined it up, drilled, and fastened it down. Next, I took the other smaller piece and used that as a backstop for the wood that I will be running through the saw. This first jig has had the biggest impact by far on my woodworking capabilities, and it has opened a lot of doors, especially when it comes to joinery, an area that I'm hoping to become more proficient at. For those of you who are new, I started this channel to document my journey as a beginning woodworker and hopefully help others along the way. So if you like woodworking, DIYs, how-to builds, or me, subscribe. I would love to have you join the community. All right. Anyways. The second jig is something I should have been using from day one. And if you have ever tried to cut rabbits without a sacrificial fence, you know the damage that your blade can do. Now it's not hard to take a scrap piece of wood, clamp it to your fence, and cut some rabbits. But the problem comes when your clamps get in the way. This is the reason why I have completely moved away from clamping down a scrap piece and just built a jig itself. Plus it takes less time to set up. For this jig, you're going to take the remaining 2 pieces we previously stripped to the fence height and measure the distance between them. Strip a piece to that specific width. And following the same sequence of pre-drill to fastening, you can secure the top to the sides. Once you have the box built, you can go ahead and start cutting rabbets, and your fence will definitely thank you. The last jig is probably the most common, and that is the sled. For this, I ripped a thin strip that would slide in the 3/4 inch gap on my table saw, and then I cut a piece to 18 inches long. I then positioned the base over the strip and got as close as possible to the blade. Using the fence and a framing square, I lined it up and used 2 1-inch screws to secure the base to the strip. I then took a 1-foot-long 2x4 and ran a bead of glue along the bottom. Again, using the fence and square, I was able to make sure that the 2x4 was perfectly perpendicular to the blade. And then let it sit overnight. Once the glue was dry, I flipped over the sled and fastened the 2x4 rail with screws. Unfortunately, my massive shoulder and insanely large noggin decided to block the shot of the camera. Oh well. Next step was to trim the edge with the blade. This edge helps with making exact cuts because you know exactly where the blade will be. The final step is to cut and add an MDF strip to the front of the 2x4. Once that's finished, your sled is ready for action. Thank you again for watching, and if you enjoyed this, please hit the subscribe button. It means a lot to me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.